Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us today again for Food for Thought. This is Sunil Chandy, and this ministry is a ministry out of Christ Episcopal Church. And we're trying to we're at the very beginning of our show. Always we say hello to everyone. We connect with them and see how you're doing. And so far, so if you are there, please do say hello. Help us to know that you're there. That you're one of the many people who are watching us, and I'm trying to get this on my phone and it doesn't seem to be working. But of course, we could just simply say hello if Ben will show the comments on there. Hi, namaste, Betsy. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Hello, Jen. Good to see you again here. And thank you for being with us. There are Jerry, how are you doing? Good morning. So glad to connect here today with you. I miss seeing your family and missing many different families. And we are seeing a lot more people in church that are in-person services. We're following the social guidelines, and we're trying to do everything as required by the law and also by our diocesan recommendations. And so far, we've been pretty successful. No cases from us, of course, but in the meanwhile, we're connecting with each other. We're enjoying the music and the liturgy of our Sunday morning services and Saturday evening services. So if you are able to come and join us. Dory, welcome. Thank you for being with us too. Today, we have, I'm not going to do the usual food for thought because we have a really wonderful guest, and he's kind of on a time crunch, and he has agreed to be with us today, and it's so wonderful to have him. And he's a good friend of mine. When I first came here to Westerly over 6 years ago, I met with this person, Chris DiPaola. You all know him. He's the king of Westerly radio. And it's been a joy to know him. I'd like to read a little bit about him. So Chris has not only one, not two, but three radio stations. WBLQ, it's on 12:30 a.m. and then the Buzz 96.7 out of Westerly, and then WWRI 95.1 FM out of Coventry, Rhode Island. He is the general manager. He is the owner. He is the president of these stations, and not only that, he's a longtime member of our community. I mean, I believe he came here when he was only 6 months old, and he's been a part of this community, and it's been a joy. He's also very active in many community events and civics groups, in particular the Westerly Charleston community. He has won many awards, of course, but he was our Rotary president. He's in the Chamber of Commerce, and he's got many other things that he is doing and engaging in. But mostly, I love and he's a husband and father and a busy person. But I like the title of friend. He's a friend of people in the community, and I'm glad he's our friend here at Christ Church. And so, Ben, please bring Chris on. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi, Father Sunil. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. That
was such a great lead-in, but I think just so many wonderful things about you and everything that you've done for the community. I want to specifically mention one fantastic thing that you host every year, and that's what you do for our first responders. I mean, you have a great church over there, great parishioners, wonderful, outstanding talent, like, of course, George Kent, who everybody knows, the organist, and choir master. But I do have to say, what a wonderful, wonderful event that everybody talks about. And our first responders are so important, and we have to thank them all the time. And I think what you've done for them is just outstanding, Sunil.
Oh, thank you, Chris. But I got to tell you, it's not just me. I mean, that's actually a ministry community event, and Cal Lord and I, we both felt very strongly about it. 6 years ago, when we had a conversation about it, we felt that this would be a wonderful thing to do for the community and for our first responders. And of course, all the priests and pastors in our community feel the same way. And so, it's just like starting something, right? And it's and then it evolves to something great when you get more people involved with it. And you know that. I mean, it's like I was just reading this wonderful article about you, and the reason why I used the title "The King of Westerly Radio" is because this article was so beautiful, and it outlined your life and how you have a dream. You had a dream from when you were younger, and you adapted and worked it, and it's a beautiful article.
Well, I think Linda Northrup is a fantastic writer, but I want to just agree with something that you said a little while ago. It takes a whole bunch of people to move a mountain. One person can't move a mountain by themselves. And I, too, just like you, have a wonderful team. And we're so fortunate and blessed that we both have such a great team behind us, because we wouldn't be able to do things we do. You were mentioning family earlier. I know you've got a lovely wife. I've got a lovely wife, and you've got lovely children, too, who I've met before. And baby Stevie will be a year old next week. And Lena, I can't do it without her. She, for some, I always say I'm the extra child. The fact that she's able to, have the other three children and then me. She's got four children. And I think that's what makes us all whole. And I'm so happy to see what you're doing every week, especially during the pandemic. You were able to stay out there, and with the help of great social media experts like Ben Barber, you were able to stay in touch with everybody in the community. And I think that's so important, Sunil.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, and so here's the thing, like, I think, whenever we face a challenge, right, there's one thing that I've learned from this particular situation, and I think this may resonate with your life, is that whenever there's a challenge before us, we could either shy away from it or we could engage it. And when we engage it, it brings the best of us.
I agree with that. And tackling the challenge head on. I know a lot of people miss football right now, but I have learned from my mentor, John Fuller, who I got my start with in radio. This is an example that he sets. If you have a schedule of things to do in a certain day, do that one thing first that carries the most weight on your shoulder, and then everything else will seem like gravy. And I think that's the way we should tackle our challenges. And the more challenges we have, and the more challenges that we, conquer, the better people we become. And I think that's so important.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. I love it. You know, Hey, let me ask you a question. When you first moved into Westerly, your family moved into Westerly from another place, and you decided to stay here. Why? Why did you decide to stay here?
Well, what happened was my parents lived in Skowhegan, Maine. My dad was going to school there, and when you had said for 6 months of my life, so obviously at the age of 6 months I wasn't able to make a decision. But my father and mother are originally from this area, but my dad was going to school up there. But even if that were not the case, Westerly, I think you agree with me, and you came into the area from outside the area. Once you come, it's I don't want to use the word infect because we think negatively, but let me turn that word into a positive word. We get infected with such great people, such a beautiful shoreline, such a great positive energy from people, and there's a lot of love, there's a lot of support, and we see that all the time. When everybody is in a great mood and on the up and up, well, everybody else is on the up and up. And then when we get down about something, like if we need help, if there's a person that needs help, everybody in the community, they always stick together. And I don't think you'll find anywhere else in the world where people support each other as much as they do in Westerly, Rhode Island.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. There's this wonderful phrase that I learned maybe in second year here, right? This is my 6th year here. The phrase is the Westerly Way. The Westerly Way. What does that mean for you?
The Westerly Way is helping somebody when they're down, offering a helping, just holding your hand out. If you see somebody who's struggling, holding your hand out. And the Westerly Way also means family. From outside the area, I often hear it, especially when I go to my other radio stations up north, and they say, well, isn't everybody related in Westerly? And
Yeah.
my answer is, well, yes, but not just by blood. Everybody in Westerly is like one big family. Families help each other. And that's one thing that you always see. Everybody always helping each other. Just a couple of things that come to mind. Ryder Kilman has a terrible disease. And I don't want to try to say the disease because I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but he's 5 years old. So we're doing a radiothon on October 21st, and Rona and Dave Mann, who you know from Rotary,
Yes,
and
yes.
Rona's the current president of Rotary, she organized this, and we're raising money for him to have a wheelchair. And the second we opened the microphones about it, we already have people, stepping up to offer their support. So it's things like that. Or the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce, Lisa Kanicki and Maria DiMaggio. I mean, during these challenging times, they helped and continue to help businesses in our area and small businesses. Is Sunday Fun Day most recently. And when everything was shut down at the beginning of the pandemic, Lisa and Maria were out there every week with Facebook Live. And that's just an example of how we're all family.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, and that's that helping spirit, that compassionate outpouring is just something that the world needs to see, and experience themselves. I also think the Westerly Way, because I know Westerly folks now, is that it also includes uh, being able to relish and enjoy life together. We love to party. We love to be with each other. We love to enjoy life together.
Fellowship.
Fellowship. It's part of who we are here in Westerly, and I think that's beautiful.
I completely agree. And I just want to say thank you, Sunil, for having me on for this brief period of time. I think we all want to have something resonate with the people that we're communicating with, and I know that your viewership is very high. I would say your ratings surpass the Tonight Show and everything else that's ever on TV. So knowing that we have a large audience right now, if I'm going to leave, anything in people's heads today, it's positivity. Stay positive. That's so important because that is contagious. That's more contagious than this pandemic. Because if you're happy, you smile, it just takes any negativity that might be around you, it completely washes it up. And it doesn't cost money to smile. Just put a smile on your face. And, it's so true. Just
It
smile.
is. It's smile. Yes, yes, and you do that so well. You give a positive smile, not only a smile, but an encouraging thought, which is what we need today. I think we do that definitely need. The reason why we do this show, this thing, and it's only to connect with people. Connect with people so that in the midst of this challenge, when we had to close down our church, when we didn't have the services, there was no way to kind of connect except through social media right now, and I really seriously, the radio is another aspect of it, connecting with people at their homes, and that's what you do. I mean, one of the things that I know about you and the radio station is that it's a lifeline to our community, especially during times of, if there's storms and so forth. We want to go for information, and we find it at your place because that's where you're always there.
Again, it's team effort, and I think what you're doing on social media does the same thing in a different kind of way. But I do want to say this: I'm very thankful, and I thank God above that we've got some good people on the Federal Communications Commission who oversees radio. Because a year ago, November, WBLQ, in addition to being heard on AM 1230, can be heard on 103.1 FM.
Okay.
Which expands our audience here in the local area. And we have a lot of people listening on FM now, in addition to our AM station. And up north, you had mentioned the Kent County station. Just last week, we got approved through a takeover from Hall Radio. And you've heard of Hall Communications. Well, now 95.1 in Kent County moved up the dial to 105.5. And we have another AM station up there, AM 1450, and our coverage area up there has gotten bigger. And I would not have been able to do it without, first of all, my team, but also the Federal Communications Commission. You know, people like Steve Conti, my right hand man in engineering, and Lauren Kleinkopf, Johnny Boots, John Parenti. I don't want to start mentioning names because if I do, I'm going to forget people. JJ McDade. I could go on, but there's so many people whose names deserve to be mentioned as a result of that.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, and I love especially like the local coverage that you give. I mean, I've been on your show a couple of times, and it's always engaging and powerful. I mean, you do that because you want our local community to be lifted up. Is there any new local initiatives that are coming up that might be really important for us to know?
Well, besides what I just mentioned with the Radiothon, which I think is very important, again, I will credit the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce in putting together fabulous candidate forums, because this is an election year. And one thing that we partner with the Chamber with every year, this year on October 22nd, which also happens to be my sports director, Ken Collins' birthday, we're going to be carrying the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce Candidates Forum. This year it will be at the Westerly Middle School. So in addition to, hearing it on the radio, obviously it will be at the middle school. But if people can't be there, and I know a lot of people, just like they are with church, they want to be home and hunker down, and that's fine too. They can meet the candidates on the radio, 103.1, 12:30 a.m., or they can download the app. And I think that's so important to keep everybody informed about the upcoming election, not just because it's a national election, but we have so many great local candidates.
That's right.
Many incumbents, but we have 9 people running for a 7-person town council. And I think it's very important for people to be informed because we have a vote coming up, Sunil.
Yeah, definitely. And that's good. And what we'll do, we'll make sure that on our website we have all of this information on as well. The other thing I did want to, I know you're very busy, but I did want to ask you about, you have a wonderful voice for radio, but you also have a wonderful face for TV and internet, right? You do. You have great hair. I love it. It's great.
Well, I think I've got a face for radio, and I don't know about my voice. Oops, sorry. I don't know about my voice, but
You do. What are you doing now with the internet thing? This whole, I mean, right now, I mean, you've got traditional radio, with the radio waves, but then the internet. What are you doing with that? That's different.
Well, I wouldn't call it different. I just think we're very easily accessible by our apps. It's so easy to download the app if you don't already have it. For WBLQ, for example, you just go to your app store or Google Play and just type in WBLQ, and there it is. And even Alexa, I mean, you can say, and hopefully you don't have an Alexa in the studio, in your office when I do this, because it's going to make it go off. But if I say, hey, Alexa, play WBLQ, do you have an Alexa?
I do, but yeah, so it's like the volume is there, but
but I'm sure I just made everybody's Alexas go up. But it's all about being user friendly, and that's so important. What you're doing right now, Sunil, is user friendly. I mean, for folks on, let's just take Facebook, for example, they get the notification that you're going live. All they got to do is click on it. If things are easy, just like you asked me about with the internet, I think that's what we do every day. We try to get more and more user friendly where anybody can do it. And there's a lot of people who listen to us on their phones or on Alexa, and that just helps out so much. So if they don't have a radio, they can do it that way. There are many ways to listen.
It's beautiful. And I love this. And again, this is the idea of, oh, well, Betsy Wright says, my Alexa just went off.
It works.
Chris, I want to thank you again for all that you do and for our community, for your positive spirit. You have a big heart and a great heart. And I'm so glad that we have you in Westerly. It's a blessing.
God bless you. And we're so fortunate we have you too, Father Sunil. Thank you.
All right. Give your wife and your family my regards, and bless them, and keep safe and healthy during this time.
And to you as well.
All right. Thank you. Folks, this is great. We have another example of a wonderful spirit, a person who does some really wonderful work for our community. And, it's interesting. I'd like to read, maybe this might be the food for thought for me. I mean, I think Chris that food for thought that he gave us was really pretty powerful, and that is the idea of being positive, spreading the positive joy and hope to the world around you. When people are down, or you see someone down and out, almost just a word of positive encouragement, a smile, can do wonders and can help lift the spirit so that that person could get up and begin again the walk of life. But I also loved this quote that I think that he holds close to his heart, because the person who wrote the article, Linda Norton, cited it. It's a quote by Henry David Thoreau. It says, "If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours." And I think I have a feeling that Chris holds this in his heart. I mean, the idea that you prepare for the moment of the dream being realized by just living your life and engaging it one day at a time. And it may not happen at the time that it may not happen. You put in hard work and all of a sudden you expect it to happen tomorrow. It may not happen tomorrow. It may, but it may happen in an uncommon time. But it will happen. The idea, the hope will happen. And so the dream will happen. So, my friends, I hope that in this time that you will always, even in this present challenging time for not only our community, but also our country and the world, that you will still dream. Dream, hold on to those dreams, work hard for those dreams, and pray to God. And somehow God will grant you those things that are necessary for your life. For today, I think that's, if we could, we'll end up our time. And there are people here. Thank you, Walt, for watching and visiting, and for all of the friends who are still here and connecting with us. And hopefully you'll still connect with us. Let's end this time that we have with one another in prayer. This is a prayer that was adapted from Bishop Thomas Brown's Prayer of Maine. Jesus Christ, you traveled through towns and villages, curing every disease and illness. At your command, the sick were made well. Come to our aid now in the midst of the global spread of the coronavirus. Heal those who are sick with the virus. May they regain their strength and health through quality medical care. Heal us from our fear, which prevents nations from working together and neighbors from helping one another. Be present with those in authority who are making hard decisions. Support the medical professionals, emergency responders, and counselors and caregivers. Support also community leaders, businessmen, and folks who are just simply trying to help one another. Support us all. And we ask this in your name, Jesus. Amen. Join with me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Friends, go out and spread the light of Christ to the world. Spread positivity. Smile, because the world needs that type of attitude and behavior. Bye.